Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, December 16th, and you are listening to episode 187 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So what's been up with everybody? I mean, not like anything new has happened from Daybreak Games this past week or anything. Yeah, obviously, Planetside Arena. We're going to be talking about that a bit this show. Really got nothing else to say about what's going on. I mean, I finished my Christmas shopping in case anybody cares. In fact, I have all my Christmas presents wrapped on top of everything else. So I'm way ahead of the game this year. So I've got all this extra time to put into this week's show. So I'm sure you're dying. What's in store for this week's show? Well, obviously, it's going to be a Planetside Arena heavy show. That's for sure. I mean, if you've been living under a rock for the past week, then you really want to listen up as I talk about the newest Daybreak Games game that was announced this past Wednesday. I do also have a little bit of Planetside 2 news to talk about, so don't worry, it's not just Planetside Arena today. So why don't you strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. So like I said, there is going to be a little bit of Planetside 2 news today because we do have a hotfix that dropped on December 13th on both the PC and the PS4. Extremely small hotfix. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because it's really just a handful of things changed within the game itself. Basically, on both PC and PS4, they fixed some incorrect iconography with pending and active alerts and events. On the PC only, they updated the command list accessible through the support button in the lower left-hand corner of the in-game navigation screen. On both PC and PS4, the Urban Forest, Snow Aspen Forest, and Desert Scrub version 2 camos are now showing the correct colors. Also on both PC and PS4, they added a mint cockpit glow cosmetic for the Valkyrie. And also on both, they added the Valkyrie mint Lumifiber to count towards the sleigh ride directive. If you forget, the sleigh ride directive is running over enemy players while you have a holiday something holiday equipped, and now they're considering the mint Lumifiber a holiday thing to equip. On the PC side only, they fixed the confirmation string that appears when transferring your character to another server. Obviously, this only affects Connery and Soltech and moving characters between those two, which again, I still hear is going well. And finally, on both the PC and the PS4, the Little Helper, this is the directive reward shotgun, received some new muzzle effects. It received a new optic, and it also had some added visual polish to it as well. So it just looks a little nicer to the gun, the shotgun itself. That's it for the the Planetside 2 hotfix that dropped on December 13th. Again, it was just a lot of little fixes and more than that, nothing more than that really, because obviously all the news coming out is our next topic, and let's roll right into that. And like I said, Planetside Arena. This was announced on Wednesday via a Twitch live stream from the Daybreak Games account. I was working at the time and was really worried about missing this. I really needed to sit my ass in a seat and watch this as it happened live rather than watching a replay of it, just because this was such big news, and I wanted to see the community reaction to it as well and everything like that. So in case you're not aware, Planetside Arena is a new Planetside IP coming out of Daybreak Games. It's going to be not as much an open world, massively multiplayer online game like Planetside 2 is. Instead, it's going to have multiple game modes, such as Massive Clash, which is just going to be a 250 versus 250 group battle to start. They did say maybe pushing that up to 1,000, so 500 v 500 at some point. They're also going to be releasing a Battle Royale mode, and you can either do this solo or in teams of 3. As we move into future seasons of Planetside Arena, because this is going to be a seasoned-based game, much like Fortnite is right now, we could see additional game modes such as arena modes or capture the flag modes, some team deathmatch, maybe some kill count, some doubles, some search and destroy, and perhaps even global conquest type games within Planetside Arena. And again, if you're not familiar with what a battle royale game is, you're thinking Fortnite, you're thinking PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you're thinking there's a battle royale mode in the newest Call of Duty Black Ops game. Basically, you're in a map where you drop in the map, you find weapons, ammo, equipment, and you slowly move towards the center of the map as the area of influence keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, so that it forces players to get to a central-ish location of the map and fight it out until there's usually only one winner or one team that ends up winning the game. That's the Battle Royale. Massive Clash is usually the same mode where each group starts on one side of the map and they work their way towards the center of the map, fighting until one team or the other wins. Very Battlefield-esque type of game. There's also a very Call of Duty-esque type of game. There's lots of other things doing the exact same thing, but maybe not so much in the same amount of players like Planetside 2 Arena is going to be doing, because obviously Battlefield 5 right now, I think it caps out at 64 players, where this is going to cap out at 500 players at launch, so certainly much bigger than anything else. We also learned that you're only going to be able to play 3 classes at launch. You're going to be able to play the Assault class, which is kind of the heavy class now. You're going to be able to play the Engineer class, and you're going to be able to play the Medic class. They said there could be more classes that are released later on, but these are the 3 that are going to start. So the Assault class seems to be kind of a mix between Heavy Assault and Light Assault. Obviously no shields or anything like that, but the Assault class is able to kind of move quickly forward to, as they say, close the gap on an enemy. Medics obviously will be able to heal and revive teammates. And it says more effectively than other classes, so it does sound like every class should be able to heal and revive teammates. And finally, the Engineer is going to be able to construct barriers, deploy turrets, and things like that. Very similar to, what those 3 classes currently do within Planetside 2. Now, we also learned that Planetside Arena is launching for Windows PC only on Steam on January 29th. So, obviously, I'm recording this on the 16th. So, a little over a month away until this actually launches, which was kind of surprising to me when they said that. I expected we were going to look at, 6 months until this launches, but no. A little over a month and a half from the date they announced it until it's actually going live, which is probably a good thing, because delaying this wouldn't make much sense. Now you want to know how much it's going to cost you to play this. Well, the nice thing is, if you are a member of Planetside 2, you have already gotten an email with a free code to getting the basic edition of the game itself. And when I'm looking at my email, I have my own personal code that gave me the base game for free. And I've got to log into Steam, add a game, activate a product on Steam, and boom, I have my free copy of the game itself. Now, you can also upgrade your free version of the game itself to either the Sanctuary Assault version, which is another $20. You're going to get Sanctuary Assault armor and access to the beta along with it. It seems like that's not something you're going to get just having the basic version of the game itself if you use the free game code. And there's also a Legendary Arena version for $39.99. And these are pre-order prices, where you obviously get the game, you get the full Battle Pass to Season 1, you get the Sanctuary Class Armor Pack, you get the M20 Tempest Pack, you also get a title of Founder, you get a Void decal, you get a banner, full access to the beta, things like that. So that's the extra stuff you get into the Legendary Arena version. And again, both those prices I just gave you are the pre-order prices. The Sanctuary Assault Edition after the game is live is going to be $39.99. The Legendary Arena after it goes live is going to be $79.99. So you're getting a very decent discount on the games themselves, on these bundles themselves, if you're looking to upgrade and get access to the beta right away. Now, also, the free game code that I got, they also note that when the game launches, the launch price is going to be $29.99 for Planetside Arena. So you're looking at a $30 price tag to get into this. And that's not a bad price tag. I mean, when we look at Fortnite as an example, Fortnite itself is free to play to get into it, but they do sell battle passes for all the different seasons, and I expect you're going to see something similar when Planetside Arena actually launches as well, because they've said you're going to get seasons and you're going to get different game modes within all these seasons themselves. So, I mean, that's basically Planetside Arena in a nutshell. I mean, we have other little bits and pieces that are coming out here and there. Like, again, you're not going to start with any equipment. You're going to have to scavenge it from the field itself. If you've unlocked weapons with the battle pass and loadouts and stuff like that, it sounds like there's going to be terminals that are going to be scattered around that you can, use a preferred loadout once you find one of those terminals. All in all, it's a lot of kind of interesting stuff about what they're actually going to be doing within Planetside Arena. And again, it really feels just like some of these other Battle Royale-esque type games that they have out there right now. So again, I think that's enough of a intro as to what we can expect to see with Planetside Arena. And again, that was the big reveal that we got this past Wednesday. And again, I watched it live, which I'm not going to lie, it was a little interesting because I feel like the majority of people tuning into this Twitch stream were players of Planetside 2, because I think that's where initially the Planetside Arena devs are kind of staking their claim on trying to get some of those players into the game itself. If there's any indication on how Planetside 2 players feel, it would be because via the Twitch chat, which I watched, and it was full of absolute hate towards Planetside Arena. I couldn't believe how many people were hating on the game after the announcement went live. A lot of people saying, not my Planetside. I've seen the hashtag not my Planetside crop up all over the place. I've seen a lot of people saying that they dislike battle royales in general. A lot of people saying that this is just a cash grab by Daybreak Games. A lot of people saying that they're too late to the party itself. And then there's the other faction that are saying they're, interested in seeing what Planetside Arena is going to become. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now as news regarding Planetside Arena comes out. But that's the announcement. So with that, let's move on to our third topic this week, which is going to be a developer's letter from Nick. Now, obviously, Nick Silva is not the producer of Planetside Arena. Those folks are listed as Andy Seitz, who we know from Planetside 2, so we're quite aware of him. He's actually the executive producer of the entire Planetside franchise, so both Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena. But it feels like he's doing more of the talking for Planetside Arena at this point, while Nick is doing it for Planetside 2 itself. Now, like I said, Nick had a producer's letter regarding the future of Planetside 2, and I wanted to just take a moment and actually read it at this point, because I want to just talk about what he has to say. So he says, Planetside Arena was announced today, and I know there are many questions about Planetside 2 and the future of our game. The Planetside 2 development team remains dedicated to developing, supporting, and improving Planetside 2. Our content plans for 2019 include the upcoming Continent Osher, the Nanite Systems Operatives faction, and more. This game remains our focus and our priority. The main difference going forward is that the Planetside Arena team is also using our Forge Light engine, which means the work they do and the improvements and upgrades they make can also come over to Planetside 2. For example, the port to the DirectX 11 renderer is going to be a huge improvement, which is already priming Planetside 2 for better, more beautiful future. We also expect Planetside Arena to attract a new audience to the Planetside universe, as well as reinvigorate past fans. Side by side, Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena will offer a huge variety of gameplay choices for everyone to enjoy. A taste of the arena will almost certainly leave some players wanting to experience the original war, and when they do, we will be sure to have a warm seat ready for them on a galaxy. With Osher and the rest of our plans for 2019, with the assistance we will see from the Planetside Arena team, and with the unique, unmatched MMO FPS experience that Planetside 2 already offers, there's perhaps no better time to get into or back into Planetside 2. 2019 is shaping up to be a great year. See you on the battlefield, Nick Silva, producer Planetside 2. Oh, I almost forgot, the DirectX 11 upgrade is already on the way to the Planetside 2 test server. Stay tuned and we will let you know as soon as it is ready for your testing. That's his letter in a nutshell. Note that as of this recording, the update has not gone live on the test server yet. You can't even get to the test server right now, and we're just waiting for more information about that. So Nick was very smart to come out and release a producer's letter, 3 hours after the update went live, or I'm sorry, the next day after the info went live regarding Planetside Arena, because I do think that the gut reaction from the majority of the Planetside 2 community was that Planetside Arena is not a good update or good move for Daybreak Games in regards to Planetside 2, at least. So for him to at least come out and try to allay the fears that any work is going to cease completely on Planetside 2, he's letting us know that that is not going to be the case. And they're going to be working side by side with the Planetside Arena team on improving the Forge Light engine itself and how DirectX 11, for example, works within Planetside 2. So it sounds like they pushed DirectX 11 straight for Planetside Arena, and then were able to take the Planetside Arena changes and apply them to Planetside 2, which, if that's the case, and if they can continue to do things like that, then that can't be bad for Planetside 2 itself. He also points out, like he says, they're still working on Osher. That's a 2019 item that's coming out. They're still working on the NS Operatives, which is still going to come out. And again, that's something that's going to be for members only at this point. So it's not that Planetside 2 is being completely abandoned by the developers. Everybody working on Planetside 2 is still working on Planetside 2. They just have a sister Planetside IP that's going to be working side by side with them. Does that allay all the concerns of players of Planetside 2 with this letter that Nick put out? Probably not, but at least it points out that they're aware that there are some concerns out there, and that they're not giving up on Planetside 2, that they're still going to be producing Planetside 2 itself. So that is the information out of Planetside 2 regarding Planetside Arena and working with it. And with that, let's move on to my fourth and final topic. It's probably what you guys have been waiting for most, my thoughts regarding Planetside Arena. So I'm sure you all listened to last week's show, and it was a speculation show more than anything about what we were going to be seeing on Wednesday via the game announcement. And I openly said that I hoped it wasn't a battle royale game, that Planetside Arena was not a battle royale game. Unfortunately, my worst fears were realized, and while that's not the only game mode of Planetside Arena, that is one of the launch game modes of Planetside Arena, a battle royale version of the game. I'm not a fan of battle royale games. I can't get into Fortnite. I just don't like it. I didn't purchase Call of Duty Black Ops because I don't like that version. I don't like the battle royale version there either, even though I know a lot of people who do enjoy it. I know a lot of people in, Joke and Bax and everybody that I play with. There's always quite a few of them playing, Black Ops and stuff like that and having a good time at it. I can't fault them for having a good time if they're not having a good time within Planetside 2. But it's just not a game that I like. And I'm a little concerned about Planetside Arena coming out side by side with Planetside 2. Now, if Planetside 2 was dead and gone, I could most likely get myself 100% behind Planetside Arena and support it with everything that I've got, because it would be the only version of Planetside that people were playing. But the fact that there are two games side by side, and with everything that I have invested in Planetside 2, I have countless hours invested. I have countless dollars invested in Planetside 2. There's so much that I have in Planetside 2 that will never translate into Planetside Arena. They named a gun after me, or in my honor, in Planetside 2. I highly doubt that's going to make its way over to Planetside Arena. Maybe it will, and if it does, that will be friggin' awesome. But there's just so much of my life in Planetside 2 that I'm worried about Planetside Arena and what it's going to do. So let's just dig down into that itself. So I think when Planetside Arena launches on January 29th, that the hit that Planetside 2 is going to take from that is going to be massive. I think that there are a lot of people playing Planetside 2 right now that are playing it because they enjoy the game, but they don't necessarily enjoy finding fights within the game itself. And they're going to find a version of Planetside where it's much easier to find a fight and continuously find a fight over and over again. A lot of times in Planetside 2, you need to make your own fight by working your way up a lattice one way or another. In Planetside Arena, you're not going to have to do that. You're just going to be able to launch a game mode and you're immediately going to be dropped into a fight. And I'm worried that the people out there who think Planetside 2 is becoming stale in that aspect are going to switch themselves 100% to Planetside Arena, and we are going to lose those people from Planetside 2 forever. And I think that's a really big concern of mine, and I hope that's a concern of the devs in Planetside 2, because Planetside Arena is going to be the shiny new toy that everybody's going to be talking about, and less people are going to be talking about Planetside 2 as a result. Sure, Planetside 2 has Osher coming out, it has the NSO coming out, but are those enough to bring players back if they feel the fights in Planetside 2 are too cumbersome to create? I think a server like Briggs is going to die. There's not going to be enough people playing on Briggs. The Emeralds, the Connerys, the Millers, the Kobolds, I think their player bases are going to have, if not more, and we're going to see such a huge drop-off in login numbers once Planetside Arena launches that I worry that Planetside 2 might not be able to recover from it. Do I hope that I'm wrong? 100% I hope that I'm wrong, because I still love Planetside 2, and I still have a lot of mixed emotions even after the launch or the announcement launch on Wednesday of Planetside Arena. Now, going back to the Twitch stream for Planetside Arena, my gut reaction was, I hate this and I hate everything about it. I will say, after having 4 days to kind of stew over it, to read what other people have been saying, to listen to what some other people have been saying. I mean, there's a video out there from Buzzcut Psycho, who I didn't think I'd ever hear from Planetside 2 again. There's a decent blog post about it from Malorn, who all you guys know from originally designing and working on Planetside 2, who makes a lot of good points regarding both games. The producer letters from both Nick and also the one from Andy regarding Planetside Arena. And then, more importantly, talking with all the community members that I know within the game, specifically the folks that I play with the most, you know, the guys in Joke, the guys in Backs. Haven't had a chance to talk with all the guys in B-Way. I mean, I'll be playing with them tonight, most likely, and I'll try and get some feedback from them. But listening to what other people have had to say about it, I found that my opinion of Planetside Arena is evolving daily, pretty much. Somebody joked that I'm like Pikachu. I like to think that I'm more like Eevee, because if you know anything about Pokemon, Eevee can become a lot of different things, and that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm sitting here as a little Eevee right now, and I'm not sure what my ultimate evolution is going to be. I mean, is it going to be something badass like an Umbreon, or is it going to be something shitty like Flareon, who I can't stand? I know, I'm sorry for the Pokemon reference. I'm sure you guys all hate that. But it's the best way to describe how I kind of feel about Planetside Arena right now. Again, originally I hated it. I joined everybody else in the Twitch chat, pressing F to pay respects for Planetside 2 because they hated the Planetside Arena. And I had a number of emails with people where I said, I can't stand, I hate everything about this. And Planetside 2 is going to die because of this, and it's going to upset me more than anything else. But again, I've really been evolving that thought process over the days, because if the two teams work together like I think they should work together, they have a very interesting opportunity to mesh the two games together. Specifically, if you're playing Planetside Arena, you should be able to earn rewards in Planetside 2. If you're playing Planetside 2, you should be able to earn rewards in Planetside Arena. If they really kind of mesh these two games together, I think they have a better chance of getting people to play both games and making sure that both games kind of blossom into something bigger than they are currently. I know we're going to have our groups that only play one game or only play the other game, and I understand that's going to be the case. I don't know how many people are going to have never played any Planetside game before, specifically play Planetside Arena, and that's going to make them want to play Planetside 2, because I do think that there are two kind of different play groups that play these types of games, or mindsets that enjoy these different kind of games. I don't want to say kids like Battle Royale games and adults like MMO FPS games, because that's not true. That's an overgeneralization, but it is how I feel sometimes when I see how crazy kids are over a game like Fortnite, that I'm not into, and things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot that potentially could be good about Planetside Arena. I mean, it's going to be missing a lot of the stuff that makes me love Planetside 2, like a persistent, constant back and forth fight that's going on and on and on. I mean, infantry, air, ground, so many different things that you can do in Planetside 2 that at the start you're not going to be able to do in Planetside Arena. I mean, heck, Planetside Arena is only going to have 3 classes to start, and that's a mistake. I mean, you should have a ton of classes in this game, as far as I'm concerned, all doing different kinds of things. But then you've got a group that hate things in Planetside 2 that aren't going to be in Planetside Arena to start. You're not going to have any maxes. You're not going to have the heavy assault class with shields. You're not going to have aircraft that are just bombarding you without you even being able to do anything about it. And I think that's going to pull in a lot of disgruntled Planetside 2 players as a result. And again, it just goes back to the fact that I don't think that's good for Planetside 2. I just worry that they're going to lose so much of their player base to Planetside Arena, and that it's just going to be the ultimate death knell of Planetside 2. And that really makes me sad and really makes me worried more than anything else. Yeah, I know Planetside 2 has been declining in population. It's a 6-year-old game. It is what it is. It's definitely declining. They still have stuff on the horizon that's coming out for it. I just read you Nick's producer letter. I know I'm a realist. I understand what is going on with Planetside 2 at this point. And maybe Planetside Arena is what they do need to inject some additional life into the Planetside franchise. One thing that I didn't read to you this week was the developer's letter for Planetside Arena. And one of the interesting things in the developer's letter for Planetside Arena was one sentence that Andy included. And he wrote, "As we mentioned above, throughout each season, additional story arcs will be revealed, ultimately leading into a future Planetside title." So obviously they're already thinking about the future of Planetside. So what I think might happen is Planetside 2 is going to be what it is, and it's going to have a slow decline over the next year as Planetside Arena takes off and season after season is pushed out. And then ultimately everything that they've learned from Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena is what becomes Planetside 3 or Planetside Next or something like that. So right now I'm looking at Planetside 2 as Planetside 2, Planetside Arena as maybe Planetside 2.5, which I think Buzzcut termed that, coined that term. So I'll give him credit for that. That's my only hope out of Planetside Arena, is that it turns itself into, with Planetside 2, the next Planetside title that is the game that everybody wants. So if there's any TLDR to this entire, monologue that I've been doing for the past 10, 15 minutes or so, is that I'm keeping an open mind about Planetside Arena. Is Planetside 2 my first love? Yes, but Planetside 1 was my first love before that. In addition, if you paid attention to the beginning of this week's show, you'll note that I tweaked the opening to say Planetside news and information and not just Planetside 2 news and information. So going forward, I plan to cover as much information as I can about both Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena, because I will be playing Planetside Arena when it launches on January 29th, because as a fan of Planetside, I would be stupid not to at least check out the new Planetside title itself. Again, like I said, my opinion of this game is evolving day to day. When it comes out on January 29th, if I hate it, I'll stop playing it, and that's all there is to it. And maybe I'll pull back on reporting as much about it. Maybe not, though, because I think the two side by side are important to bring all the news regarding Planetside out to you, because right now I think I'm the only voice out there that's bringing you Planetside news, and I'll continue to do that. So I think I'm going to end this monologue at this point. Again, the TLDR is that my opinion of Planetside Arena is evolving day to day. I will be playing it when it releases on January 29th, and I will continue to bring you guys news on both Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena through the rest of 2018 and into 2019 as we go. With that, let's move on to housekeeping and finish up this week's show.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I coming anyway?
So I did get a couple emails. I got 3 emails, actually. The first one was from Gandhi, and we're actually going to take a trip away from Planetside Arena news on this one, and he wrote, "Hello, Derringer. I'm a console player with over 100 days played. I listened to your Thanksgiving episode with Drew, and in it, he said that he doesn't ever play on console. I've also heard Rel state that he doesn't even own a PS4. This is very troubling news, and it's clear to me now why console has had such poor attention. The bugs we have are many, and some have existed since launch. If the devs don't play on console, then our severe issues are seemingly out of sight and out of mind. I think a lot of us have given up on reporting bugs through the issue tracker because nothing comes of it. Hopefully DX11 solves our rampant hitching and blue screening. But it would be awesome if the devs would play on console just a little bit each week and gain some awareness as to how poor the console peasants are doing. Things are worse now than ever before. Shout out to Nick for paying us at least some attention. Yours truly, Gandhi." So Gandhi, I know we're a couple weeks old from this, the Thanksgiving episode, but thanks for listening. And 100 days played, I tip my hat to you. I couldn't do 100 days on the console because I'm shit with the controller, even though I do play occasionally. I also felt that it was troubling that Drew doesn't have a console, Rel doesn't own a PS4, or Drew has one but doesn't play on it often. Rel doesn't own one at all. I mean, Rel is a PC gamer from old times. I know that. But I will say that we have seen that the devs all do have it's like a special developer thing for the PlayStation 4 for Planetside 2. So even though they may not play it on live, they do have access to it on their desktops. So while that may not be exactly what you want to hear, they definitely have some access to it as well. But I agree. I think if they were to continue to produce the best game possible, that they would all have consoles and they would all play, an hour a week, a couple hours a week, something. Even if they bake it into their normal day of working at Daybreak Games, to play their own game on the console. I think that's not the stupidest idea, in the world. Now, something that you didn't mention, again, because you're talking about a show a few weeks ago, is going back to Planetside Arena. I noticed that there's no mention whatsoever of Planetside Arena on consoles, which I think is a glaring oversight for Daybreak Games. If everything is working as well as they say it is, there's no reason that Planetside Arena shouldn't be on both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One at launch. And maybe that's just something they're still working on, but I really hope that that's something that's going to be going on launch as well. If that does happen, I fully expect Planetside 2 to die on the PlayStation 4 because Planetside Arena lends itself much better towards a console than it does to PC, at least in my opinion. But again, Gandhi, thanks for the email regardless. I also got 2 emails this week from Hybrid, one before and one after the announcement. So I'll start with the one he sent me before the announcement, and he said, "Derringer, a little speculation about the new trademark from the Planetside realm. It would be neat if they were actually dusting off the Nexus Battle Island and the arena was a trademark for a squad v squad game mode as a little morsel for the competitive community. They could even monetize it a bit by making it available to members always and non-members 1 weekend a month or so. Anyway, keep up the good work." Then he sent an email after and said, "Well, it's a Planetside game with a Battle Royale mode, but they are planning on adding a bunch of other game modes as well, and it won't be free to play." So obviously Hybrid had to backtrack on what he thought it might be because he was completely and 100% wrong, which a lot of the community were, so don't feel bad. Yes, it is a BR mode at launch. It's going to have more than that. And, something that I didn't really delve too deep into in my monologue or anything like that is that it is not a free-to-play title. And that's rather important when you sit down and actually think about it, because Planetside 2 is free to play, which means the developers are always looking to add things to Planetside 2 to get us to spend our money on the game itself. And by making Planetside Arena a base cost to get in, and as we saw, the base game itself is going to be $30, they are flooding money into their coffers up front regarding Planetside Arena. And that means they don't always have to sell, be busting their asses to add cosmetics to the game or new guns to the game to force people to buy it, because just to even play the game, people have already shelled out $30. I mean, I'll say it now, even if I hate Planetside Arena, I did spring for the Legendary Arena package, which was $39.99, because I want to have everything in the game at launch and stuff like that. Could it potentially be $40 that I just throw out the window? Sure. And that's my problem if that's exactly what happens. I'm hoping that I kind of enjoy playing it a little bit, and then my $40 is well spent, and it's certainly better than $80 for the full mode itself. So again, I didn't really delve too deep into that, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that it's important that this game is coming out with a cost and is not a free-to-play game, because that means, again, they're getting all this money up front, which means they have to do less to try to make you spend your money in game because you've already spent it, which is kind of a big deal. But thanks for both those emails, Hybrids. I'm sorry your first one was wrong. The third person who sent me an email on the last one was Matt9, and he wrote, "So that happened today." And he's talking about Planetside Arena. He says, "I am a member, so I got a key, and I will probably try it out just to see. But I'm looking forward to your show Sunday to see what you think about this. My only concern is that primetime numbers will drop for PS2. Thanks again for the shows every week. This should be quite interesting." So Matt9, thanks for the email. Yeah, like you've heard it already. I did a decent monologue on it, and I do echo your concern. Is that I think you're going to lose about half the people playing Planetside 2 when Planetside Arena goes live. You could lose more than that, especially people who are members, because you're giving them a free copy of the game itself, and that's definitely concerning to me. I worry that if we lose too many people in Planetside 2, that it could be a death blow for Planetside 2, and I just have to sit back and hope that that's not going to be the case. But thank you for that email as well, Matt9. Wow, a lot of emails this week, but that's going to be it for this week's show. So how can you get in touch with me or the show itself? Start off by visiting my website, www.instantactionpodcast.com. Email me, instantactionshow@gmail.com. Call me, leave me a voicemail, 347-4VM4PS2, or those digits are 347-486-4772. The show's Twitter is @InstActPodcast, INSTACT Podcast, and my personal Twitter is @TheDerringer. But in closing, as always, if you enjoy the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice. This is how new people looking for Planetside Arena are going to find me. So hop onto iTunes, hop onto Stitcher, hop onto Google Play, or anywhere that you listen to the show, and just leave me a review. I'd love to have some more reviews and get some more bumps before people really start looking for Planetside Arena podcasts. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. But finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that Join Combat, formerly known as Instant Action button.
Get your arms combined.